This past week was the Yeshiva week, the traditional break between the semesters. So for those who went away, I hope you had a nice time. Maybe you're still away, travel safely. For those of us who stayed local and just did some day trips, that's also good. I was speaking with someone last night that it's important to find the safe ways to get out of the house. Anyway, here we are, Parshas Bo, and to me this is always a milestone Parsha. At least it used to be. It resonated when I lived in the Midwest and Parshas Bo would come around. Typically I would look out the window and it was cold and gray and maybe snow on the ground, and I would read all of these psukim about Yetzias Mitzrayim, which is basically the story of the Haggadah, many references to the Haggadah, and it would remind me of spring, and it would give me hope that even if I have 6 more weeks of winter, but eventually spring will come. And sure enough, that's the way it was every year. So I embraced Parshas Bo. There's a lot of fond associations. So I think there's a nice idea that we can bring out from the Parsha, something familiar, and it really speaks to where we are right now. If I were to ask you a very simple question, why do we eat matzah on Pesach? If you think about it, your first reaction might be, well, it's lechem oni, it's the bread of affliction. That's what we say in the beginning of the Seder, halach ma'anya. This is the poor man's bread that was eaten by our fathers in Egypt. But, and this is a valid question, we bring this up typically every year at the Seder, later on in the Haggadah, we quote the Mishnah from Psachim. Rabbi Gamliel says, we eat matzah because the dough didn't have a chance to rise, and therefore it was baked off very quickly. So which is it? Why do we eat matzah? It's interesting that if we're looking for a symbol of the shibud, of the servitude, the first reason, if this was poor man's bread, a very meager diet, the same as the Morah reminds us of the bitterness of Mitzrayim, we would think that's more consistent with what we're trying to accomplish. On the other hand, that was a very quick episode. They left and the dough didn't rise. Why is that now the symbol of the matzah? It didn't have a chance. The dough didn't rise because they were in a rush. So the answer is perhaps that when we sit at the Seder and we take in where are we, where have we been, and where are we headed? And not every Seder is always under the best circumstances. We know that from last year. And here we are about 7 weeks away. So we have to remind ourselves that Yeshuas Hashem keherafayim, that the salvation, Hashem saves us literally with the blink of an eye. Look at the matzah and remember, Ki gorshu mitzrayim, they were chased out of Mitzrayim. They would have loved, Bnei Yisrael would have wanted to maybe take a little more time, catch their breath, and travel at their own pace. They were chased out of Mitzrayim because Hashem said it's time to go. The Egyptians were just the messengers for the purpose of leaving. So that's what we have to realize. When Yosef, I quoted this Sipurno from Parshas Miketz, when Yosef was taken out of prison, he faced prison for 12 years. When it was time to leave prison, Vayiritzuhu min habor, they rushed him out of jail. They brought him immediately before Paro. In fact, it was Yosef, by the way, who said, give me a moment to clean up because I have to present myself before the king. They did not want to waste even that amount of time. So the point is, the Sipurno says, Yeshuas Hashem happens immediately. That's the way Hashem works. Ki krova Yeshuasi lovo. The Navi says the Yeshua is very near. It's very close. It's kamo raga. It happens like the snap of a fingers, the blink of an eye. And that's what we have to remember, not to get too bogged down. Everyone can have their moments, including myself. It wears us down. But remember, spring is on the way, and hope springs eternal, and that's the symbol of the matzah. And Emir Hashem will have that Yeshua very soon. That's the way we have to go through life. I wish everyone a good Shabbos. Again, travel safely if you're coming back, and looking forward to getting back together and seeing each other in person. Be well.